Hey guys, this is Jorge Patiño and I'm going to talk about the story of the milk. For this review, I decided to choose Milk, a Local and Global History, and I read part 1, The Culture of the Milk. In this part of the book, it centers on the story of Isis, a demigod that lived in Egypt 2000 years BCE, and she lived with her husband Osiris, a demigod also, a male demigod, and their newborn baby Horus. There was a rumor spread across the ancient Egypt by that time that somehow the milk coming from Isis' breast had miraculous powers to heal diseases. And because of that rumors, they were creating religious ceremonies and festivals in honor of her. And Osiris was also praised because he somehow wanted his legacy to be spread as much as Isis. Egypt was celebrating Isis, and her presence was so recognized across the Mediterranean that the Greeks created another figure based on Isis, her equivalent Artemis, and another god that's called Ephesus. I'm not so sure if those were actually gods or if they existed, but just they were just figures for me. They were just figures because they were so jealous about it and they wanted to create their own festivals too. And so in ancient Greek, there was this constant battle between the Ephesus believers and the Artemis believers. These festivals and ceremonies went so far that this created killing between both both believers, and there was a massive assassination of that. But that doesn't stop ISIS to be recognized around across the Mediterranean. In the in Mesopotamia, Isis was considered to be the benevolent cow, and in the ancient iconography, she was considered to be the goddess cow. And in the Christian religion, she was considered to be somehow a figure of the Virgin Mary, because Christians by that time couldn't accept the fact that a female goddess existed because there was only one God in Christian religion. So they decided to twist around that idea that says, okay, so Isis was the Virgin Mary, and the milk that was coming from her breast was a metaphor of God's gospel, only in Christian religion. But that doesn't stop there. Also, there were ancient philosophers that had their own ideas of how of the properties of the milk. For instance, we have Aristotle, who once said that the milk has miraculous powers that somehow could transmit the features of the mother to her son. And also, he listed in his book, The History of the Animals, he listed the woman in in the following animals: a cow, a goat, a horse, and whales, because they were viviparous animals that fed their offsprings with their breast milk. There was also mythical figures that got fed with milk from animals. If, for instance, we have Zeus. Zeus was getting the milk from a goat thanks to the help of some nymphs. And we have the founders of Rome, which were Romulus and Remus, and they got their milk through female wolf. I'm not sure if that was real or if it's just a rumor or a story. I'm not so sure. I could only tell that milk has another impact on philosophy. Next, we have Hippocrates. Hippocrates, he tells his point of view of milk based on medical examinations. He he considers women to be more wetter than men because of her constant flow of blood, and that her milk somehow can cure this constant incorrect flow of blood. One of the things that Hippocrates tells, and I really find a good passion about it, is the following: the constant flow of blood helped to underline her social status, and they were subject to emotional excess and had a voracious sexual appetite than men. Thank you, hypocrites, to tell us the truth. Okay, so far we talk about the myth from a religious point of view and from a philosophy point of view, but also it helped to draw a line between the civilized man and the nat and the wild man. What am I talking about? We have in the Gilgamesh epos the story of Ekindu, a savage man who lived who lived in the land and was feeding from the milk of some animals. And he has a long hair, and somehow that he was mistaken as a woman. So the hunters once come to hunt this strange and wild man called Enkidu, and they capture him, and they wanted to they wanted Enkidu to be part of the civilization of civilized men. All right, so we have also the Homer Odyssey or Odyssey. I'm not so sure how to pronounce it. So we have Homer Odyssey, and it talks the story of the Cyclops. The Cyclops were mythical figures that has one eye, and they were shepherds. They were feeding from dairy products and also from human flesh. And these beasts were considered to be barbarians, were savage men. It was hard for them to be part of the civilization of good natured men. So one day, there was a tribe and their leader called Polyphemus. Polyphemus had a cave, and in this cave, it has dairy products, and that those dairy products attracted the attention of some villagers, and they wanted that those same dairy products like cheese, but Polyphemus couldn't accept this, so he ordered to his tribe, if if those villagers try to to steal his cheese, they have to capture them. So one day these villagers were caught by the Cyclops, and they killed them, and the Cyclops eat their human flesh. And so you can understand why it's difficult for Cyclops to be civilized, uh, like Enkidu. There was also another philosopher called Herodotus. He narrates the story of the Scythians. The Scythians were considered to be barbarians too, such like the Cyclops, but this civilization of men uh, were different. Were a combination of Enkidu and the Cyclops. For example, the Scythians tend to eat human flesh only when necessary, and they live in the land as much as Enkidu. The difference is that the Scythians used to drink the milk from the mares, and if you don't know what a mare is, consult in the dictionary. Sorry. Well, a mare is like the female of the horse. So these Scythians drank the milk of the mares by doing this procedure. They were taking some pipes made of bombs, and those pipes were located in the other's mare. All right. So one group of Scythians has to blow the tube like this, and the other group has to take the milk that was coming out of the mare's udder. You can understand that it was very difficult to suck the milk of the mare. So and this was because once the veins of the mare is full of air, the udder was coming down, and so it was easy for them to extract the milk. And so those stories I found it fascinating. I really recommend it to read it because not only uh, milk was hard uh, to obtain on on those times, but it can help you to grasp another perspective of milk. Some people created desserts in the Italian Renaissance in the Italian Renaissance, and it was hard for them to digest the products that were created from the dairy, from the milk. They were desserts. They were also cakes, pastries, and the Italians revolutionized somehow the process of making products based on milk. But it was hard because the people couldn't digest these products so easily, and so they have to start to write some recipes with the exact amount of milk or cheese or sugar or eggs to be put on those recipes so people wouldn't have any problem to digest it. And well, for you guys, I really recommend to read this book. Not only will help you to understand the milk from just a physical point of view or a chemical point of view, but you can see the impact that had in so many cultures, in so many stories, and it can help you to to have another perspective of life. It was a great honor to share this with you. Uh, Take care, and if you are not a big fan of milk, I really I really hope that you can have the time to read this book and be fascinated as much as me with the stories. So take care and